Welcome to the Reddit Review. Today's stories all have hauntingly similar theme. The title of this one is The Lady in My Hotel Room. It's posted by Midway Master. Okay, this is my first post ever, and this story takes place a while ago, back in mid-2014, maybe earlier. This story still creeps me out ever since it happened. I was maybe 9 or 10 when this happened, so I'll probably forget key details. Anyway, let's begin. I was traveling with my family to Canada to see Niagara Falls on a week trip. We were checking into the second hotel there with a window overlooking the falls. We spent the whole day checking out the beautiful sight until it got late enough to go back to the room and sleep for the next day. I was sleeping on the floor next to a bed without socks next to the window. I woke up in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 a.m., because of my freezing feet and because I was sleeping on the floor. So I had the feeling to go to the bathroom, so I decided to get up and go to the bathroom. Then I saw a figure in the middle of the room, looking either at the floor, at the window, or maybe looking at me. I was scared and knew not to make noise because the rest of my family were sleeping, and not to alert this ghost or whatever it is looking at me. I peeked at the corner of my bed and looked at this mysterious figure looming in my hotel room. This figure was wearing a white gown or dress and had long black hair coming down to her chest. Freaky. Reminded me of The Grudge first look. I had to stay hidden behind the bed or risk being attacked by this anomaly. It took a while for me to fall back asleep on the floor, but I did manage to do so. I was able to sleep until the sun rose and woke me up, and I had the same dilemma of going to the bathroom. So I rushed to the bathroom to find the door closed partially and completely dark. You could see a little through the crack in the door. I was so scared of last night I had to wake my mom up to open the door for me to go to the bathroom. I then had to wait for everyone to get up and pack their suitcases and backpacks to set off for the next hotel. After we checked out and left the hotel, I couldn't stop thinking about what happened, or what even was this, an apparition? But after that, nothing really happened to me. I look back at it now and think how creepy it is to have someone or even something looking at you when you sleep. I started to believe in ghosts after that, and I can't disprove what I saw in that hotel in the middle of the night. All I know is that I should be looking over my shoulder when I believe something is watching me. Well, I certainly have to sympathize with this post, because the only thing creepier than feeling like there's a ghost hovering over your shoulder is feeling like there's a ghost hovering around you when you're trying to go to the bathroom. Just for that, it earns a creepiness factor of 7 out of 10. On to the next story. This post is by Air Force Jacks, and is titled The Dining Room Ghost, Part 1. When I was around 7, I was out dining with my family 5 days after my grandpa died. After we ate, we were supposed to spread his ashes, but it was raining pretty hard, so we agreed we would do it when the rain stopped. When we got home, we found the power was out. My cousin and I were told to get the candles from the dining room and bedroom while my parents and uncle work on the generator. I went to the dining room and my cousin went to the bedroom. Halfway through the dining room, I look up and see a glowing white figure standing at the end of the table. The figure was about 2 feet taller than me without any features except 2 large divots where someone's eyes were supposed to be. It was making a low moaning sound. I stared at it, frozen with fear, for what felt like an hour, when I heard my mom call for me to hurry up with the candles. I slowly backed out of the room with tears down my face as the thing's divots followed me out of the room. My mom asked where the candles were, and I said we didn't have any. When she noticed I was crying, she asked why. I refused to tell her anything, and this wasn't the only time I saw it. Well, alright. Now this ghost story seems to be of the more common type. A deceased family member, a glowing spectral entity, moaning, but the divots 4 eyes. Now that is uniquely spooky. For that, it gets a 6 out of 10 on the spookiness meter. This next story is simply titled Little Girl and it's posted by Savannah07. So, my family moved into a new house that was very old, and we were moving in, and everyone was helping clean up the basement and living room. A couple of days later, we started cleaning what we thought was the attic, but turns out there were 2 rooms up there. So me and my mom and my sister started cleaning it up. The rooms were facing each other. And I went downstairs because we were done for the day, and my mom claimed she saw a girl standing at the end of the stairs. So she simply said, "Hello, little girl." She then came down the stairs and said, "You trying to scare me?" And I thought, "What do you mean? I've been down here." And she said, "Well, I saw a little girl that looked kind of like you." So I said, "Hello, little girl." I told her that wasn't me. And after that, me and my sister stayed downstairs and didn't go back up for a while. I love how the poster just told this story about a ghost girl in the attic and ends it with, "We didn't go back upstairs for a while." Not, we never went back in that house. Not, we burnt it down with fire and destroyed everything, living dead and undead inside it. No, just, we just didn't go back for a while. That's we give it a 3 out of 10 on the Spooktrometer. The next scary story is by Memes Are My Life 232, and it's called The White Man. Okay, so this is a true story. With our school, we had a trip in Europe, and we went to Germany, Ukraine, Poland, and other places. In Ukraine, we went to a concentration camp named Auschwitz. We were having a totally normal day up to that point. So, we arrived there, and immediately when we got out of the bus, I started being watched. I kept looking over my shoulder, but never saw anything. We went to visit the barracks when I started to feel really uneasy. Suddenly, I started seeing a fuzzy white shape in the corner of the room. No one else noticed it except me, so I didn't say a thing. We headed out and went to the gas chambers. Right when we got inside, my nose started bleeding. I had never had a nosebleed in my life. My head started to hurt like no one's business, and I was losing my balance. I had to stop and rest against the concrete wall. That's when I saw a humanoid shape in the corner of the room. The room temperature dropped to almost freezing. It moved toward me, very slowly, like it knew it had me. I felt like I was going to die. I knew it. I blacked out. I woke up on the bus. My shirt looked like it had been doused in blood. The teachers were swarming around me. Afterwards, they told me that I lost consciousness, and that was the end of it. Now, this story sounds pretty legit. I mean, it's actually what you'd pretty much expect when visiting one of the sites of the worst genocides in all recorded history. So, it's not exactly unexpected. The creepiness, the ghost was pretty standard, but honestly, just thinking about being in those gas chambers and in that prison camp is pretty horrific on its own. So, I think 9 out of 10 witch doctors will agree with me when I say that that's a whole lot of bad juju. 9 out of 10. On to the next story. This one is called The Woman Controls Something Now, posted by Dan. A woman played with me when I was little. Now she won't go away. So, when I was about 5 years old, me and my sister Gwen played the Ouija board, and now it was a mistake. I'm 13 now and decided to move in with my auntie because I did not want to spend 1 second at that house anymore. And I told my mom repeatedly about what was going on, but she just dismissed me as just being a bit silly. So I told my mom I wanted to move in with my auntie Lily, and Lily was a very mature person. In a way, she was into witchcraft and voodoo type stuff, but she was understanding in some form. My mom was a little hesitant at first because she did not understand why, but I tried to tell her why. But again, she did not listen, so after days of convincing her, she finally said, yes, I can move in with my auntie. I remembered I was so excited to move in with my auntie and finally escape my house that has been haunting me for years, and now I don't have to live in it. When I went up to my room to start packing all my things, I found a note under my bed, and it was only one note, and I also thought it was extremely weird. I opened up the note, and it says, written in black paint, "I will see you," and I thought it was just one of my sister's, Monica, playing a trick on me. I go to Monica's door and knock on it really loud because a lot of the time she doesn't hear me when I knock. She swings open the door, and a look of confusion is all over her face. I ask her, "Were you the one that placed this under my bed?" And she answered with a no. So I walk back into my room and just forget about it. I finish packing, including pulling the huge mess out of my closet, which were all my clothes, and sort through them. It takes me an hour to finish packing because I had to sort through everything in my room, including my toys from when I was little, still had neatly tucked away in a basket in the closet. My mom and dad came up the stairs and say that they will be going to the grocery store and everyone is going with, and if I wanted to go, but I answered no because I was probably going to take a nap because of how tired I was. So she says okay, and Gwen pops out of nowhere and says that she is staying too, and what we should do. As we are discussing this, everyone is leaving and it's just me and Gwen. She suggests that we should go through the attic because we might find some good stuff in there, like jewelry or valued possessions. So I get intrigued by the idea, and the next thing you know, we were out in the yard, getting Dad's ladder and dragging it into the house to climb up and pull the string that pulls it down. Gwen goes up and pulls on the string, and the door opens, and a bunch of dust particles go flying everywhere, and we both cough as it digs into our throats. She goes up there first, and I followed in right behind her. There was a lot of furniture with sheets all over it, and Gwen pulls one of the sheets back to reveal a bunch of dust and the furniture piece. Gwen then went to a corner of the room to look at something or get something, I don't know. I was busy looking through a treasure chest. I told Gwen to come here, and she did, and I told her to look at what I found, and she got wide, curious eyes, and then we both reached in and pulled out pictures that were dusty at first until we wiped them off and saw the image. The first one was of a little girl holding a woman's hand, and when we looked closely at the woman, she was wearing a white dress and had long black hair. My stomach felt wavy looking at the woman dressed in white, and the reason why is because the ghost of her haunted me when I was 5 years old, and on the back of the picture in bold black crayons wrote the words Susie, and Gwen's face turned a little just looking at it and thinking of the memory. We tossed the rest of the pictures in the treasure chest, and we were going to go out of the attic, but the ladder had fell on the floor, and Gwen curses and tries to see if she can reach down and grab it, but she can't. Then, as she is struggling to try to get the ladder, there was like a scratch in the corner of the attic, and it caught my attention but not Gwen's. And then there was a whisper from the corner. That's what caught her attention. She looked at me odd because she thought it was me, but then a language that we could not understand whispers from the corner, and then a lady in a white dress appears out of the corner and starts crawling to us. Without thinking, we both jump out of the attic door, and Gwen picks up the ladder and uses it to shut it. Our hearts were beating so fast, and then Gwen takes the ladder and runs back to the place where she got the ladder and puts it back. But when she comes back, she was completely terrified in a way, and so was I. We tried to explain to each other what had just happened, but we can't. Then Gwen finally comes to the conclusion that maybe it was from the Ouija board game we played when we were little. We go up to our rooms as Mom and the rest of the bunch walks in through the door. And as my mom and dad walk through the door, Mom calls both of our names, and we go see what she wants. When we got there, she was smiling until she saw how dirty we were, and asked in a stern tone. So we both come up with an excuse very quickly and say we were playing outside. And then she orders us to go get into a change of clothes and a shower. So we go do that. After our showers, we ate dinner. Then we all went to bed as usual. I had to go back to my scary bedroom, but I'll be leaving this place tomorrow, so I think I'll be fine. I'll give you guys an update when I get to my aunt's house, and if anything weird happens. Now, here we are again with a ghostly woman in a white dress. Perhaps the deceased have a dress code they have to follow here. Maybe they just all sat around and watched The Ring and thought, hey, that's pretty scary. Let's all just do that. Either way, the story is rather spooky. And anyone who's seen The Exorcist knows that these things can get exponentially worse. So, look forward to the update. In the meantime, I think I'll go with a 7 out of 10. Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Reddit Reviewer. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share it. Leave a comment below. It would be greatly appreciated. Please subscribe if you're new. And until next time, do stay away from creepy children and addicts, sites of mass genocide, and strange women who approach you in the middle of the night.